Hi, the 1492 guy. Can you be an educated person in the 21st century without knowing about the doctrine of discovery? Well, welcome. In 1451, the Pope made an inter cetera bull, which is their rulings, and it's called the Doctrine of Discovery. It's been with us for all these many years, over 550 years. It's still governing a lot of the activities that go on in the world today, or at least influencing them in a big way. So at that time, he determined that if explorers were going out around the world, or going anywhere for that matter, that it was okay for them to enslave people that they met. It was okay to kill them if they needed to, and if it was okay to take their belongings and take their land. So those were the main items, which I call that declaring war on the world, which Europe did at that time, and has been at war with the world basically ever since. Now, at that time, there was only one church, and so the Vatican, when they gave these rulings, they applied to all the kings and queens, because Europe was 100% dictatorships at that point, kings and queens, along with all the nobles and dukes and earls and barons that ran that system, but they ruled by the divine right of, basically, which came from the Pope. So anyway, that was the ruling, and they were there to convert people to Christianity, and that's what they needed a ruling on, and he gave that. Now, I'm the 1492 guy, so I talk about 1492 and what was going on in the Western Hemisphere prior to that, and also end up covering a lot of what's happened after that. But now, only 1 year after 1492, as little time as that, 1493, the next pope, the pope that was in at that point, was asked to make a ruling. And he did an inter cetera bull as well, too, because Portugal and Spain wanted to know what to do about this new world. And so they divided the land and the waters. They divided all the areas of the world between the two countries. He also reiterated at that time that the idea that if they were there to take care of the heathens and to convert the heathens, pardon me, a little picky on that, if they were there to convert the heathens, convert them to Christianity, then it was okay to kill them, okay to enslave them, okay to take their land, and okay to take their belongings. Now that became the basis of law in Western Hemisphere, and of course we're talking about India, Africa, places all over the world, Australia. And as the indigenous lands were taken, the foundation of that from a legal point of view and the justification for it, I guess morally and ethically as well too, was this doctrine of discovery. And many of the laws of today are rooted in that as they're traced back in time, the different acts and the different laws that were passed and the proclamations over time. And when you go back far enough, it ultimately comes back to a decision about how valid do the legal systems of today want to treat that. Now, the Vatican refuses to rescind that even today, although it's not lived by today, of course. But the fact that the land was able to be taken. Now, our wealth comes from the land. That's what a lot of people don't recognize. It's not just that the European treasuries filled up during the 1500s and 1600s in particular, and that went on to the 1700s and 1800s. The European treasuries filled up compared to the rest of the world by just mere theft alone, just by taking gold and taking silver and taking precious metals. And we can even leave out of that the slave trade, the lumber, a lot of the other mining, the resources, the fisheries, all of that, which all has a cost that adds up into the trillions and trillions and quadrillions if you want to take it over time. We're just talking about the land itself. In fact, you could even eliminate the real estate out of that, which is more quadrillions and quadrillions of dollars. Imagine all of the Western Hemisphere, which is mostly colonial rule even today, 550 years later. Just imagine the real estate, Australia, most of Africa, India, all of these places. I'm just talking about the land itself. It's the fact that you have land is where wealth comes from. All wealth comes from the land. It comes from being on the land, owning the land. If you don't have any land, then you're not going to be able to produce wealth. And that's one of the points that's often missed. So anyway, a lot of people are not even aware that this document existed, the Doctrine of Discovery, and that it's still affecting us today. And we can get into that on another recording. How when you hear about in the news every day about things that are going on, particularly in the West, it directly relates back to this Doctrine of Discovery. More on that next time. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.